Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video and Blind Woman review. So I will be reviewing today season 1 of The Rising of the Shield Hero. If you don't know what this is about, I will explain in a minute, but also I did react to the first 2 episodes of the series. So if you're interested in my reactions for the first 2 episodes, I'll link the playlist below. But without further ado, I will begin my review of season 1. So The Rising of the Shield Hero is about a so first we meet Naofumi, who is our main character, and basically he's in the library looking for a light novel, and he finds this light novel about these 4 heroes: the sword hero, the bow hero, the spear hero, and the shield hero. And he is reading about this, but he does not. But then he realizes there's no, there's no shield hero, and as he's trying to figure out why, he, along with 3 other men from alternate versions of Japan, get summoned to another world, the Kingdom of Milremark, where they're asked to basically help them save the world from the waves of catastrophe. From there, it all begins, and it turns out our character Naofumi is, you guessed it, the shield hero. However, unfortunately for him, he is considered the weaker hero and even a loser because he doesn't, unlike the other heroes, he has no previous knowledge of their world, and the others know about it because they all have video games related to this world, so they know how it is. Yeah, I'll talk about that, but yeah, they all have like video games related to this world, except for Naofumi, who has no knowledge of it, not even through a video game. So he's the one that kind of mainly has to learn it. It all goes awry when basically they're going to go on their adventures and try to level up, but nobody goes nobody joins the party of the shield hero, and he is until a woman basically decides to join him. However, it's all a trap because she basically swindles him and seduces him and convinces him to buy her equipment, steals his belongings, and then accuses him of a crime he did not commit. And from there, his advantages get taken away, and he is badly treated by pretty much everybody except one person. And from there, we watch him go a little bit sinister and do whatever he can to survive, as well as do a couple of other things, which I'll talk about. But he becomes more sinister and darker and has to do whatever he can to survive in this kingdom where everything has been taken away, including his source of income. And basically everything in general just gets taken away from this guy, and he's at a disadvantage, and everybody treats him bad except for Erhard, who's like this really awesome guy. Like, yeah, no, awesome. So that is the main plot of the series as it begins. That is literally the plot for season 1. And however, by the end of season 1, you can tell there's a bigger overarching plot, and I'm actually pretty excited to see how that overarching plot gets explored in season 2 and possibly season 3, because I'm hoping there's a season 3, but I will definitely be interested in seeing how it gets explored in season 2. But we're not here to talk about season 2. Let's just continue. Honestly, I love this show. I actually originally got it recommended. This is like my 3rd watch of season 1. I did do like a first impressions thing in my older channel that I have not been posting on because honestly, I don't know. I feel burned out on that channel, but at least here I like it. I like doing these short form videos and talking about the shows I watch. But anyway, this is my 3rd watch of this season. I got this show recommended from a review by Anime America. and by the time, yeah, by Robin from Anime America, and and I was like really interested by the time that the way she discussed it. I remember very clearly, and I was like, I really hope this isn't Funimation, because if not, I'll have to find another way to watch it, or I won't be able to watch it, since Funimation is the only, it's the only source I have. It's the only anime service I have, and I can't watch anything subbed, because it's not gonna work out so well. And I was really happy to find that it was in Funimation and that the dubbing was in Funimation and everything. So I was pretty happy to find it, and I'm like, yay, I can watch it. And I remember every time I watch it, I really love it. It's a beautiful and interesting series. It can also be really hard to watch because you watch a really nice and really kind character kind of go through shit because of this one bitchy princess. Like, you kind of watch them go through hell while this bitch of a princess pretty much gets whatever she wants. So it can be really hard to watch, but there are beautiful moments and lighthearted moments to kind of get you through the hellscape that is Princess Bitch, which is kind of a thing. You'll know in a little bit why she's called Princess Bitch, but like, honestly, um, so yeah, when you have to watch Princess Bitch pretty much ruin the Shield hero's life and pretty much everybody else's life around her, it can be really hard to watch. But it's especially hard to watch because Naofumi didn't actually do anything, so you're watching an innocent man go through hell and try to come back, and also try to do whatever he can to survive. But everything he does either makes him look bad or people just don't agree in general. So it becomes hard to watch, and you become a little bit irritated at the other characters and just how stupid they are, because like they're so easily manipulated. But also, it's not even just a manipulation, but it's the actions they take, and you realize how stupid they are, especially the youngest of them all, Itsuki. But I think when it comes to Itsuki, at least I can be somewhat forgiving because Itsuki is 16, but the others are 20 and 21. Ren and Moroyasu being the oldest, should have learned a little bit more, but he's so stuck. They're all, specifically Moroyasu, has a bit of a hero complex, but Itsuki can be forgiven a little bit more. Ren is fine, he kind of understands, but Moroyasu is just like, I am seriously in with Philo when she says, I hate you, spear guy. Like, I get it, okay? I, as a viewer, find Motoyasu extremely irritating and annoying, and I find myself wondering, why did they do this? But it becomes a thing. It becomes a thing that comes up, and it can be pretty hard to watch at times, but also it's also a very beautiful show. It's a great show with an interesting amount of things to look at, and it's really interesting to watch and very hard to watch, because of the way of how real and raw it feels. Watching the show kind of feels like going through actual real life, because if we're being honest, real life can suck, okay? real life can be a bitch, and I honestly feel like watching the show reminds me a lot of real life, specifically when it comes to prejudice and stuff like that. I think the show portrays prejudice quite well, not to mention gives it a real face in a way when it comes by giving it to Naofumi, who is a character that didn't really, he didn't do anything, but even if he wouldn't have done anything, he would have still gone through hell even if he wasn't accused in a way, because he's still the shield hero. And unfortunately, the shield hero has been is kind of badly treated by most people, right? So he's still looked down on by most people, and because of that, he still would have kind of gotten badly treated. On the other hand, the shield hero, although he's hated by some, is also worshipped highly by others. So it's a very interesting dynamic. It's an interesting dichotomy to kind of explore in the show, and I like it. So I'm gonna go into a couple of semi spoilers now, because the one thing I want to talk about next, the next point, actually does involve some spoilers. I feel I am a little bit conflicted about the season 1 ending. Honestly, I'm not too sure how to feel about it. I mean, I like it. I don't have an issue with it. I think it's a great ending. It's just I'm a little bit conflicted, because I honestly think that with it would have ended really great with episode 21. So yeah. So we're gonna go into spoilers now, and we're gonna talk about some of the aspects of the season I really found really interesting. And by the way, off the top of my head, my top 2 favorite episodes are definitely 4 and 21. But honestly, if I had to choose a couple others, my favorite episodes in total definitely are the first 2, 1 and 2, 4, what is this? 16, 17, 18, and 19, 21. No, that's it. No, those are my main favorite episodes. Like, those are like the big favorite episodes I have. 1 and 2, 4, 16 through 19, and 21 are like my favorite episodes. And then other than that, I also found some familiar voices, which I found really interesting. I recently watched Akame ga Kill, and I realized that, at least if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the same guy that plays Naofumi plays Tatsumi, but also the same guy that plays I also found this the guy that plays Itsuki also voices Gother in Seven Deadly Sins. I've never heard Faye Mata out of The Rising of the Shield Hero that I remember, but the woman that plays Therese also plays Elizabeth from Seven Deadly Sins, as well as, I'm pretty sure her voice actress also plays Hinata in Naruto, but I'm not too sure. But also she definitely is in Violet Evergarden. She's the same actress is also in Code Geass, which I'm holding off on for now. But so she is an actress I have heard before. So I heard some familiar voices and I really liked it. But anyway, so we so one of the things that Naofumi does in this series is we find out, because a slaver reaches out to him at the end of episode 1, that slavery is real and that they practice human supremacy, and basically they enslave demi-humans. So they end up what is it? Oh, okay. So he ends up buying a slave, a demi-human girl named Raftalia. He buys her because technically it's legal. And he buys her when he could have bought, somebody else. This is something that technically is interesting, because he could have bought another one, but he ended up buying her, and it turns out she was very sick, and this labor was having a hard time buying her. But she ends up, he ends up buying her, and he has to, although in the beginning he doesn't treat her completely bad, but also in the beginning he's a little bit rougher with her, he does end up slowly becoming her, they'll become friends, and he does protect her, and we find out that she has had a very difficult life as a demi-human in this kingdom, not just as a slave, but in general, because she lost her parents, and she, and everything. So it's a very, we find that Raftalia, it can be very sad for Raftalia. Another thing that's something he does, which the heroes eventually find out, which Moroyasu specifically finds out, due to mine, also known as multi and bitch and whore by the end of the season. But basically, she tells him, and there's a duel in episode 4 where Naofumi and Moroyasu are stuck battling, of course approved by the king, who pretends to be kind but definitely wants to get rid of the shield hero because he has some previous issues with the shield hero, something about his family, which is not highly discussed, but that apparently something happened with his family and he blames the shield hero for it. Honestly, I'd be really happy to see that backstory. I'm hoping for it to be explored at some point. And after that duel, when it is declared that Moroyasu wins, even though technically he cheated because Princess Bitch here used magic, and they think that Naofumi cheated because of the things that he's using in his shields and all that stuff. He ends up going through a rough moment where he's like, why am I defending these people? And he yells at Raftalia, he yells pretty much at everybody, and he's like, why am I doing this? Why is this happening? But Raftalia kind of comes up, and she's like, I'll always be there for you. I promise to be your sword, and I'll always be beside you. And Raftalia also lectures Moroyasu for being basically an asshole and an unintelligent idiot, and basically tells him exactly what happened, how he was kind to her, and he still doesn't believe it, and stuff like that. So she ends up going to him, and she holds him, and he does. I'm pretty sure he cries in the episode, but I can't be sure. But it was a very touching moment when she held him in his arms and said that she's never going to leave him, and it was very sweet and very adorable, and they become closer. And also that very same episode, that in the next episode, he gets Philo, but also like the egg for a Philolial, and also gets as a form of trust, Raftalia gets the slave crest again that was taken from her. And then from there on out, we kind of watch them get closer, as well as with Philo, and Raftalia starts developing a cute crush on Naofumi, which is just really adorable. And we watch as Melty eventually ends up in their group, mainly because she needs to be kept safe, because we find out that Princess Bitch is trying to assassinate her sister to be first in line to the throne and be the definitive next queen of Melremark. If she couldn't get any worse. I mean, she wants to ruin the shield hero's life and delights in doing so, delights in pain going for him. But also, she's so power hungry and wants the power so much that she is about to kill her younger sister in order to be the next and definitive queen. So this world is a matriarchy. Turns out it is a matriarchy, and it also works like a video game. So everything you do, of course, has consequences, but also everything you do gives you experience points, levels you up, and all that stuff. So thought I would mention that. And also this season has really good world building. I just wanted to mention this season has really good world building. But yeah, if things couldn't get any worse, she basically attempts to kill her sister by colluding with this Three Heroes church, and she tries to kill her, but she also ends up manipulated, which I thought was kind of cool. We end up finding out certain things about the shield hero, like there is demi-humans worship him because he's usually really kind to them, but also it turns out that it was the previous shield hero that also raised, it seems, at least it is definitely implied, that it was the shield hero that also raised the Filial Queen, Vittoria, who is interesting, and she ends up Philo ends up being the next her successor when she dies. So now Philo is being raised by the shield hero the same way Vittoria was raised by a hero, even though Vittoria cannot remember who it was, but she remembered making a promise to help the humans in that world. But it is highly implied that it was the shield hero, which makes sense. And I thought that was a beautiful thing when they met Vittoria. She threatens to kill them if they don't get along too, so I thought that was funny. We also meet a couple of other characters that I'm sure will have a lot more development in season 2. I mentioned Therese, but we also meet Lark and also Glass, and it turns out they're trying to kill Naofumi and the other heroes. We meet Glass first on her own, and she battles Naofumi in the second wave in the season. But we meet Lark and Therese sometime later, and then eventually they try to kill him as well. But we find out a couple of other things by the end of the season, which is why I'm kind of conflicted, but also sort of happy with the ending. So episode 21 is the one episode that made me say, yes, that is awesome. Like, that would have been an amazing ending. And the reason I say that is because that is when the king and first princess go to trial for treason and are basically trialed in front of the entire kingdom for their crimes. And mine, is basically Princess Bitch, as I've been referring to her, basically is a slave crest is attached to her, so that she cannot lie in the trial to make it fair. And we of course find out that she is a pathological liar, which I was just like, yeah, sounds about right. I mean, it makes sense for Princess Bitch to be a pathological liar. But yeah, alright, it makes sense. It turns out the king, though, was attempting to do what he thought was the best for the kingdom. So he did all this stuff, while Princess Bitch here just wanted power and wanted to be the next definitive queen. I actually really wonder if she would have killed her father if he got in her way. I actually don't doubt that she would have at least tried. So she has no choice technically but to, even if she lies, her crimes are basically put out in front of the kingdom, and it's the one time that she can't lie, and Naofumi's name does get cleared, and she is sentenced to death along with the prince. But because the princess ends up begging for her life, and Naofumi decides to agree, saying that death is too instant and it's like an instant release, and he basically punishes her by saying, like, he says that basically both, first of all their titles were removed, of course, but were taken away, but also they get punished by saying, from now on the king's name is Trash, while the prince's name is Bitch, which is why I mainly refer to her as Princess Bitch. So she's mainly referred to as Princess Bitch, but her original name being Multi. But because she also had an alternate name, Mine, as an adventurer, she also needed an adventurer name. So her adventurer name is Whore, which I thought was just funny. I honestly felt that was just like right justice. I mean, come on now. What an imagination in this thing. I can't say that listen, in other circumstances, I'd probably be like, oh my God, why would you do that? But in this circumstances, seeing how she is willing to manipulate and do whatever she wants in order to get whatever she wants, I kind of like that she's now Princess Bitch. It's very enjoyable. Now, the reason I'm conflicted about the ending is because I really feel like it actually could have ended there with this with this thing and left the rest of the season 2 kind of like a thing that we could watch. And I feel like 20 episodes 22 to 25 would have been an interesting beginning to season 2. However, I also feel that it they do work. Now, because now Fami's name is clear, does anything get better? No, it does, but it doesn't, because there are still people who just cannot help but like be stupid and not and there's basically these people that feel like they just cannot be wrong. They cannot withstand being wrong. It's like, I don't care what I do, but I'm not as bad as the shield devil. Like, this is their reaction. And although there are people that learned who he was and that are completely like willing to learn, and of course not to mention the people in the beginning of the season who he helped and will of course help him, there are also people who cannot withstand being wrong, so of course they will be they would basically they will basically like just they can't withstand it, so they'll mistreat him. At the end of the season, after he goes to these islands to level up, this island only activates like once a decade, and they get like a bonus stuff. Also, before I continue there, the queen did offer him a reward, but he didn't like say what he wanted, because it's like, none of this stuff matters now. But basically, she does offer that to him, and he's basically been thinking about it. It's like, but by the end of the season, we find out that there is another world, and there are probably other worlds with other heroes. So we find out that Glass, Therese, and Lark are heroes from another world. But in order for the waves to end in their world and for their world not to be destroyed, they need to kill the heroes from this world. Which brings up an interesting question. What will happen in season 2? Because that's something we find out at the end, but it also turns out that Naofumi will be recruiting other members to his party, and the first one that he recruited is Rishia, who was accused of breaking something of Itsuki's, and he just kicked her out. Seriously, he probably didn't even bother to investigate if she actually broke it. Like, what the hell? And she ends up being there, but he ends up asking the queen for his reward, and he asked for something, and she realized, okay, I knew it would probably be something as selfless, you know what I mean? And it turns out that he becomes Lord. He gets his own domain, and he becomes Lord of Sayet. Now, Sayet is a village that was destroyed in one of the waves, and also it's the village where Raftalia was from, and in that specific wave, Raftalia also lost her parents. And it was being rebuilt, and basically the previous Lord of Sayet, unfortunately, is dead, and he was also a trusted friend of the queen's, and he was the one left in charge. But he passed, and unfortunately the power went to King Altcray and Princess Bitch, now known as Trash and Bitch. Yeah, so it went to them, and that is why like the 4 heroes were summoned. They were not supposed to be summoned to one kingdom. They were supposed to be each kingdom was supposed to summon a one hero in order for all of them to work together to fight the waves. But the church and the king ended up summoning them. So yeah, and in Sayet, they make kind of like their base, and they decide to recruit people and train them. And by the end, everybody who helped the shield hero out in the beginning, everybody who helped Naofumi, kind of are now there again helping rebuild, which I thought was very cute. And it looks like the slaver also has something up his sleeve. So I'm actually kind of curious, and it looks like it's probably another business venture in his case. So I'm definitely curious to see what season 2 brings. It's supposed to be released sometime in 2022, according to my anime list. And I'm looking forward to it because I really want to watch it and I really can't wait to review it. I'll probably be rewatching the season in 2022, but definitely wanted to watch it just so I can review it here. Anyway, that is my review of The Rising of the Shield Hero. If you haven't yet, I definitely recommend for you to watch this. Yes, it'll be hard to watch because you're watching an innocent man get treated badly for something he really does not deserve to be treated badly by, and he did not do. But also, you're watching him rise through all the hellscape. The one reason I really like The Rising of the Shield Hero is because it doesn't feel like every regular superhero cliche thing. It feels different because it feels raw and it feels real. You know, you don't always remain, like, if you're in a situation like that, you don't know how you're going to actually react. And I think that because you don't know if you're gonna like react a certain way, I think it's great that this show showed exactly how you might react. You may not stay kind because it's expected in the regular superhero cliche that heroes should be kind, but Naofumi is kind, yes, but he is not always kind, and unfortunately he has to do a lot of things that are not considered kind always in order to survive. And I find that amazing to watch just because it's not always that you get something like that from a show. Anyway, this is my review. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts on The Rising of the Shield Hero. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Who's your favorite character? Also, do you agree with me or not? Raphtalia is the best girl and should be protected always. Do you agree or no? Because she's just awesome in my opinion. Subscribe if you're interested in my content. Like the video. Make sure to comment. Engagement is key to help your favorite creators get up in the algorithm, and also, you know, help YouTube notice us. And check out the description for links to other content from me here, and I will see you tomorrow with another video. I'm not too sure what it's going to be, but I think it'll be something related to another book plot discussion, so keep an eye out for that. And with that, my friend, I will see you in my next video, but until then, consume stories.